Hello, my name is Timothy Cheek, and today I will be showing my updates for Week 2 of Mobile Game Development 1. This week I worked on player unit moving and making sure it shows the correct locations a player can move and attack on, and the player can't choose a location outside of the bounds that's set for the ranges and speeds of each unit. To start off with, I create an array of all the grid squares, and then we'll map them to the actual grid, the grids that are already drawing on screen, and then we just set they're attached to whatever grid squares they're attached to here, and then inside the grids we have a depth to tell us how far we're in it when we're doing our breath first, to make sure we don't go past the speed of the unit or the attack max range. And then we go down. That's all for the grids. The rest is used for AI having. And inside our UI, we on start of our UI, we're just gonna make sure we grab all the grid squares, and we're gonna set each of our units. We're gonna give them a location in the grids, and we're gonna make sure that unit knows which grid it's on. And so then when we go to our here at our update function, so if our location, if the players press move or attack, we're going to render the highlighted grids for this, and then we're going to just draw all these grids out, and we're just going to instantiate each one off of one that we have created that just doesn't show. And if it's moving, it'll be blue, and if it's attacking, it'll be red. And so we created some functions that we call whenever the player presses the move button or the attack button. We'll call functions called find moves or find attack, which is finding these locations. Obviously, we're on here. So for finding moves, we're just doing a simple breath first search. We're going to grab all the squares that are within the player's speed range. We're going to use speed as our depth. We're going to go through, we're going to grab them. And then we're also going to make sure that the grid square has no other unit on it for moving. And then we're going to just store those. And then we have our find attack squares, where we're going to get the depth will be the max range. And so we do a while loop while this is not empty. We're going to make sure the grid square is not the units, and it's greater than the minimum range for the player unit, and also that it's not contained. We haven't already used that grid square. We're going to go through and grab all of them until we get to the depth. And then we store that. And then we have a function that will return, so the units can call this function to get the locations that they can move to. And we got a function to clear. And if we go over to units, inside our if mouse button down, we're going to grab the mouse button like we've done before. This time we're going to check it to make sure that it is on one of the grid squares that is available for the player to move to. And then we have a buffer because each grid square is one unit wide, so we have to have a buffer to make sure that the player is touched within that range. And then if so, we're going to set the grid that the player was on. We're going to set it to false so that there's nothing on it now. We're going to move over to our new grid, and we're going to set that one to true as since the player's on it. And we move the player. And attack, we're going to do the same thing about the grids, but this time we're going to just search through make sure that our touch is on one of the grid squares, and then we're going to see if the enemy was touched by, is on one of those grid squares also. And with this, we have we're using min range and max range because of our ranged unit has a minimum range of 2 and a maximum range of 3, as our melee unit has a minimum range of 1 and a maximum range of 1. And you can see here our speed for our ranged unit will be 2, and our speed for our close range melee unit is 1. And now I'll show the gameplay of this. Now, as you see, when we press move, the highlight blue, and it's only going to show the available locations. And see where we're touching and we can't move outside of that. And then now we hit attack, and it shows us all the locations that we can attack on will be in red, and we can't actually attack on anything that's not. And see, we can't attack because the enemy unit's not on the actual one location. So we move up, and then we can attack the enemy unit. And that is it for the demo. Thank you. So next week I will be working on enemy AI. I want to have A-star implemented and using the units, enemy unit speed for how far they can move. And I want to make sure that enemies can't use grid squares that have something on them. So I have to make sure of that. I know as of right now there's a problem where enemies can move on top of each other. So by getting this pathing algorithm in, it should eliminate that problem, and also should allow for the enemies to actually move towards the players a little bit more realistically than they currently are. Currently, they're just moving to the closest grid square towards wherever their target is. Now, with that, I'm gonna have to do testing to make sure that the enemy can move appropriately with different situations and everything. And I had some trouble getting A-star working, so with the grid framework and with what I've accomplished so far this week with getting the player units appropriate grid showing, I believe I have a system that set up now where it will be a little bit easier for A-star. But since the pathing is going to be one of the most challenging things I have to do, it's going to take some time for me to actually get it in place, make sure it's working properly and everything. I don't think it has to be in the game to make the game actually work. And then on top of that, it's just fixing any minor problems that I see. I'm always trying to improve what's already been put in, just trying to touch up anything. And that is it for what's going on next week. Thank you.